Looks like I'm live. Yes, I think I'm live right now. Okay, I am Bernie Bro, and as usual, I will share with you my social democratic insights, what I call the social democratic way. And I want to talk about Elizabeth Warren, who evolved from being Bernie Sanders-lite to now becoming Hillary Clinton-lite. Back in 2012, when Elizabeth Warren got elected as the U.S. Senator from Massachusetts, I was very excited. It was like there was not a lot of lefties in that chamber. Bernie Sanders was pretty much it, since there was no more Russ Feingold, no more Paul Wellstone. It was really not a whole lot to choose from for left-wing voices in that chamber. So having Elizabeth Warren in there was kind of refreshing. But here's what happened. Bernie Sanders asked Elizabeth Warren initially, well, probably around 2014 and 2015, asked her to challenge Hillary Clinton in the primaries. She wasn't too keen on it, for what I've heard. So Bernie Sanders, who initially did not want to run for president, decided somebody has to go and challenge Hillary Clinton. So it was Bernie Sanders. Now, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren had a very cordial relationship in the Senate. They vote very similarly. They were pretty much considered allies, very natural allies, almost like a Batman Robin situation. Um, well, it would have stand to reason when Bernie Sanders was running and gave Hillary Clinton a good old tough run in the primaries, that it would almost seem like a foregone conclusion that Elizabeth Warren would endorse Bernie Sanders. As it turned out, she decided to endorse Hillary Clinton. Found out later what happened, and maybe that was news at the time, but I found out later on part of the reason was that Hillary Clinton figured this out, and she decided to talk to Elizabeth Warren and get her enticed over the idea of a possible setup where she's the running mate. Well, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I mean, because choosing Elizabeth Warren would have been a smart choice for Hillary Clinton. It would have been a compromise candidate, but she didn't want Elizabeth Warren because, in her eyes, Elizabeth Warren was too much like Bernie Sanders, and Hillary Clinton was is she's always content to keep the party where it's at currently, and that is basically a soft center right party, beholden to Goldman Sachs. So she went further right instead of going further left, choosing Elizabeth Warren as her running mate. She went further right, choosing Tim Kaine of Virginia, the senator from Virginia, as her running mate. So, she either wanted to spot an administration or be the VP, which neither happened because Donald Trump won later on. Well, as 2018 came along, Elizabeth Warren announced her candidacy for president, and everybody knew that Bernie Sanders was going to run too. And at first it seemed like it was friendly competition. And as the field in 2019 and 2020 started narrowing down, um, there was some situations there. Um, a lot of bad advisors, a lot of people from Hillary Clinton's campaign, a lot of Kamala Harris's people came in there and kind of tainted the program that she was offering. And so basically, she sounded less populist and sounded a little more woke, a little more intersectional and politically correct, while basically, you know, embracing the corporatist wing of the Democratic Party. In other words, they were pulling her strings to push her more into the Hillary Clinton camp and away from the insurgent wing of the party that are around people like Bernie Sanders. What stupid calculations she's made, because she tried to play the sexism card by accusing Bernie Sanders of being a sexist, claiming that he told her that a woman can't or a woman isn't capable of becoming president. And I wasn't there at that dinner, but I don't believe that. It's just not something Bernie would say or do. I mean, I just know that, and I think most people know that. And then she called Bernie. She called on Bernie Sanders at the debate, made a scene at the end, and refused to shake his hand and say, "You call me a liar on television. You call him a liar." And I was so mad. I started to lose a lot of respect for her. And to call him a sexist, and then after that, when Bernie Sanders started winning in these primaries, and there was a lot of DNC skullduggery urging all the other Democrats to drop out, except for Elizabeth Warren. Pete Buttigieg dropped out, and Amy Klobuchar, and then Beto O'Rourke down in Texas campaigning for Joe Biden, and all of them endorsed Joe Biden. And it's because Barack Obama made some phone calls, and Elizabeth Warren didn't drop out. She went and stayed in the race and hurt Bernie Sanders in Massachusetts. It was it was I Bernie Sanders got literally hoodwinked again. Got hit. I mean, he cheated again profoundly. And Elizabeth Warren, I will never forgive her what she did in Massachusetts, staying in the race. She knew damn well what she was doing, and then she sat on her duff for a while Bernie Sanders continued to suffer with the primaries that was essentially stolen from him. And then she ended up endorsing Joe Biden, who's with his track record of Wall Street deregulation, the bankruptcy bill, and the safety net cuts like Social Security and Medicare, and she goes and endorse Joe Biden of all people. It's not like it was between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and she's going to choose Joe Biden. I can understand that strategically, but in the primaries, you're going to choose Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders. That's bullshit. And on Rachel Maddow show on MSNBC, she was asking Elizabeth Warren, would she accept the VP spot for Joe Biden? Yes, she said. Yes, yes. And there is talk about Biden possibly choosing Warren, which I personally don't think that's going to happen, but there is talk about it. There's a list of people, and Bernie Sanders is not too keen on supporting the idea of a Biden Warren ticket. Can you blame him? I mean, it's not even personal. It's just he saw how a once honorable progressive populist turned into a corporate centrist. I mean, so, and as far as I'm concerned, she's a damn snake. I don't trust her. As far as I'm concerned, she's just another generic corporate centrist Democrat. And it's not just her; it's happened to some of the others. I mean, Governor Howard Dean, was in his heart of hearts a centrist, but he actually made an attempt to go toward the left, and he had some moderate good results. I mean, not as a presidential candidate, but as the chair of the DNC. As chair of the DNC from 2005 to whenever he stepped down. I can't think of what time he stepped down, but he had a lot to do with the Democrats coming back in the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate in 2006, which was probably the two best years in of the first decade of the 21st century because uh, the Democrats were giving George W. Bush a little bit of grief, not as much grief as I wanted them to, but they were kind of fighting back a little bit, which I look back at those years kind of optimistically in that regard. Um, but getting back to what I was saying, why the hell should Bernie Sanders be? Oh, goody, goody, goody. Joe Biden may choose Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren is a backstabber. She's not an ally. She's a turncoat. And with as I said, she's no longer a progressive. She's the new Hillary Clinton. I mean, she's still probably not hateful like Hillary Clinton, but really, what it came down to when she did what she did, she turned into Hillary Clinton, and it's a sad day. It's a sad day when you see what you think are good people turning out to be not so good after all. Well, that's what I got to say about that subject at the moment. And if you like what you heard, just give me a thumbs up. If you don't, I'm a grown man. You can go and give me a thumbs down. Um, Tell your friends about this channel. Please also subscribe. And I'm always happy to have a conversation with you and to share you my views on the social democratic way. I'm Bernie Bro. Peace.